nasal bone. They're right by the nose. Now these cheekbones are the zygomatic bone. You know how someone comes up to you and goes, oh, you cute little zygote, like an ant or something? The zygote where the sperm and egg come together and they make the cell, so you cute little zygote. There, zygomatic bones, okay? Now, these right here, right in the eyes here, right in there's a little hole in them, the lacrimal bones, okay? And someone says something about lacriminal, but I think that's you have tear holes where you cry, right? Lacrimal. So it's like people are lacrimating from their eyes, lacrimal bones. A student made that up, not me. So this one, anyone know what this one up here is? The maxilla, and then this one down here is the mandible, okay? Because every man has a beard, but Max has a mustache, okay? So we have maxilla, mandible. So the whole thing is a what?
Cool.
The whole skull, the part up here, cranium, this face, this frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal, nasal, zygomatic, maxilla, mandible. And I didn't point out too that you actually have, I think we'll do that next week and something like that. So that's pretty good though. Right underneath the mandible, there's this little U-shaped bone called the hyoid bone. It's the only bone not hooked to other bones. It's hooked to your tongue muscle, so you use it to say hyoid. This is little U-shaped bone here. I don't know if I probably don't even have one in this box. It's probably in here. Even though this says vertebrae, I keep some special ones in here just for lack of a better place to keep them. Here's one. Here's a hyoid bone. It looks like a baby vampire mandible. It's a hyoid bone. You use it to say hyoid. So, here, this right here, anyone know what that is? Sternum. Okay, because it's a very stern man, sternum. Okay? Then you have three parts of it. You have the manubrium, because remember stern man, manubrium. You have the body, because the stern man has a good body. And then you have, anyone know what this little thing at the bottom is called? Xiphoid process. So for those of you who've taken CPR, you might have learned about the xiphoid process, because sometimes it gets broken during CPR. So, there we go. What is this thing here? Sternum, this part, manubrium, body, xiphoid process. Anyone know what these are?
Yeah.
Clavicles, or they're collarbones, but you'll need to call them clavicles. You call them clavicles because then you could just say leg bone, arm bone, wrist bone, right? So here's a clavicle right here. You can see how it fits. And feel free to take these bones and hold them up to this and see how they fit so you'll know the sternal end and the acromial end of it. What are all of these things?
Ribs.
Ribs. Okay? So for the ribs, you have the true ribs are connected to the sternum with their own cartilage. You have the false ribs are the bottom 8 through 11, and they are either connected with a branching cartilage or they're not connected at all. The floating ribs are they're false ribs, but they're the ones that aren't connected at all, so they're floating ribs. And make sure that you can tell, like this one, I can't tell if this is a true or a false rib, because it could be one that's up here or down here. So you can't tell, you can just say rib. But if you get one, well, I don't see it. Oh, here's a floating rib, because this end, instead of being flat, is going to be rounded. So it's going to be the second to the last one. And this right here is first rib. Okay? And you know it's the first rib because it doesn't even hardly look like a rib, but it fits right here like a rib. So these are all, what are all these? Ribs from the restaurant, right? You got true ribs, you have false ribs, and you have floating ribs. Well, I don't know. We'll turn it around. So, oh wait, before we turn it around, what are these? Clavicles, this, sternum, the top part, manubrium, body, xiphoid process, ribs, true ribs, called
Ribs floating
floating
ribs.
ribs. This whole thing of vertebrae is called the vertebral column, when you're just talking about the bones. If you're saying the spine, you're talking about the bones and the spinal cord, but this vertebral column is the bones. The top ones in the neck are the what vertebrae? Cervical vertebrae. Think of the cervical collar, right? Right there. Some people ask me, why is that called the cervical region when the cervix, is down there? Cervix means constriction. Head constrict neck, shoulders. Uterus constrict cervix, right? So there's cervical vertebrae. These ones here that are connected to the ribs are the which ones? Thoracic vertebrae. And then these right here, the large lumpy ones, lumbar vertebrae. This big thing here is called the sacrum. For goodness sake, C7 is sacrum. And then the little tailbone is the coccyx. Because it makes you sick when you bruise your coccyx. Has anyone here ever bruised your coccyx? Yeah,
I did yesterday. I fell in the ice.
Oh, yeah, it probably hurts to sit on those stools. So anyway,
Bam!
the cervical vertebrae all have two extra holes on the side of them, called transverse foramina. Foramina is plural for foramen, or you could just say transverse foramen, transverse foramen. And that is for the vertebral arteries and vertebral veins to pass through. So you can tell no matter what, it's a cervical vertebrae if it has that. Many of them also have bifid spinous processes. Now the first cervical vertebrae is called the atlas. It looks like a spaceship that goes around the atlas, like the sci-fi movies, Atlas. And it's the first one that the head sits on. People say that Atlas held the world on his shoulders. So they're thinking of this as the world. And when you nod, actually it faces this way. Then your occipital condyles, these little ones here, rock on the atlas. So you need to know this is the atlas, and it's C1, and it's the cervical vertebrae. Here's the axis. Oh wait, I need that back. Sorry. The axis, the atlas sits on the axis, and when you go like this, that is your atlas going like this on the axis. The axis has this little axis called the dens that sits up here, that it rocks on, or rotates on. Then you also have, this is actually C7, the vertebra prominens, but most of your cervical vertebrae look sort of like this. And then here's C7, it looks sort of like the thoracic or sort of like cervical. So the thoracic vertebrae look like this. They look like giraffe heads. Doesn't that look like a giraffe head? Giraffic, thoracic. And the lumbar vertebrae look like a lumbering moose. So here's your lumbar vertebrae. So you will need to know themselves. So we have these are what? Cervical vertebrae, thoracic vertebrae, lumbar vertebrae, sacrum, coccyx. Anyone know what this is? The shoulder blade? Scapula. Doesn't it look like a spatula when you go like that? Spatula, scapula, yes?
So on the PowerPoint for lumbar vertebrae, part of it that's labeled as like the spinous process and the transverse process. Do we need to know those parts?
Yes. Anything on the assigned list?
Okay.
Okay? So here, and we'll do this super quick. This is the what? Humerus. It's not funny. This one here with the radiating head on the thumb side is the radius. The one with the U-shaped knot is the ulna. These here are carpals, they're wrist bones. These hand bones are metacarpals. These finger bones are phalanges. You have proximal, middle, and distal. And then the thumb just has two, proximal and distal. You can see that. And then they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the thumb side, this would be distal phalanx 1. Here's middle phalanx 2. Here's proximal phalanx 3. Here's metacarpal 4. Okay? You use your wrist to drive a car, carpal tunnel syndrome. You use your feet to walk on tarsals for your legs. So what's this? Humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, phalanges. And then here we've got the hip bones, by the way, are coxal, C-O-X-A-L, coxal bones. And this is not facing right. Oh, we only have a couple minutes to do this. Turn around. Okay, we'll do this one. This right here is the femur, okay? And then the kneecap is the patella. And then this big one is the tibia. Tibia, not to be, tibia. Okay, don't get that mixed up with the little one, the fibula. A little I is a fib, right? These bones here are tarsals and ankle bones. You use your feet to walk on tar, right? Here's metatarsals and phalanges. So it's tarsals, metatarsals, phalanges. And again, you've got the proximal, middle, distal, and the big toe, the proximal, distal. And they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, starting with the big toe on out. So this is a what? Femur, patella, tibia, fibula, tarsals, metatarsals, phalanges. There's two tarsals that you'll need to know separate, and that's going to be the calcaneus is a heel bone, and the talus is right up here. And it's called that because this one's wired together, but when you hold it like that, it's like a bird talon. But there's a talus and calcaneus, and right here is the talus and the calcaneus. So you'll need to know them separate. And I think it's time to go unless y'all want to do these real quick one time through. Raise your hand if you want to. This is the what? Skull. This is the cranium, face, frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal, near the temples, nasal, lacrimals, zygomatic, maxilla, mandible, hyoid. Then you've got the clavicles, sternum, manubrium, body, xiphoid process, ribs, true ribs, false ribs, floating ribs. What are the hip bones? Coxal bones. The coxal bones and the coccyx are both here in the kaka. Then this is all the vertebral column. These are the what? Cervical vertebrae, thoracic vertebrae, lumbar vertebrae, sacrum, coccyx. Here is the humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, phalanges, femur, patella, tibia, fibula, tarsals, metatarsals, phalanges, calcaneus, talus. And femur, tibia, fibula, coxal bone, sacrum, coccyx, humerus, looks like a clawfoot table or a clawfoot tub. Radius, see the radiating head. Ulna, U-shaped notch, U is for ulna. Rib, scapula, sternum, manubrium, body, xiphoid process, carpals,
metacarpals,
phalanges, tarsals, metatarsals, phalanges, vertebrae, patella. Okay. So you all anyone have any questions? Oh wait, what's this? Clavicle. Any questions?